And it's picked up by the Wildcats. Cam Montgomery now leads the conference with 5 interceptions. Klein in the backfield. Osborne flies, he has Rogers this time and he hits him. Wildcat touchdown, 27-13, 12:31 to play. Brings up 3rd and 8, Osborne throwing on the run and it's picked up by the Warriors. This could be for 6. One man to beat and they're taking it all the way to the house. Cole Moncton puts his team up big. (17-14) is your score. Welcome back to Bob Cunningham Memorial Field in Wayne, Nebraska. The Wildcats, their final home game of the regular season, looking to go out on a high note. Currently leading the 6-3 Minnesota State Mavericks. Wildcats come into this one at 3-6 and have never defeated Minnesota State in this series history. The Mavericks owning an 8-0 advantage since these two teams first met in 2008. Touchback for the Wildcats. They'll start things at the 25-yard line with 11:45 remaining here in the second quarter.
And the offense has looked really good, for Wayne State. We'll see if that continues. But it's been all passing game for the most part. We've seen a couple runs from Osborne out of the pocket, and then 3 or so carries from Alex Klein, 1 for 5, 1 for 4, and 1 for about 2.
You had the Wildcats converting on a big-time special teams play. Odessa Clark blocking the Mavericks punt and scooping it up, and that set up an Osborne touchdown connection to Nate Rogers to give them the advantage they currently hold, 17-14, although credit to the Mavericks, they came back down and scored to narrow the gap. Osborne on the short carry there across the 30. Brings up 2nd and 4.
Nice little QB draw up the middle for a gain of about 6 officially. Another one that kind of closed up earlier, but he actually snuck through the gap this time, and if he gets past that defensive line, he can get a decent carry.
Areolas Burns gets close to a first down on the off tackle and looks like they'll give it to him. Pick up a 4 for the junior.
So trying to establish that running game here early on. We'll see what they do as they try to, it seems like, try to close some of those linebackers into the box a little bit more, get them to play a little bit tighter, then maybe hit them with a route at about 10 to 15 yards.
This time you hand it on the little sweep carry by Willie Walton. He'll pick up 2. Miller in on the tackle.
And not much going on that one. They run that 4-2 really. They split out that Willbacker quite a bit to get on some defensive coverage.
Osborne looking to the near side. He's going to tuck this one and run. Slides at the 43-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Definitely manageable if you're Wayne State. But that's just one of the dangers when you get those guys spread out. They have the trips on the near side in the block. So when you spread out those defensive backs and you don't have anybody from the linebacking core or the defensive core responsible for Osborne over the middle, where that gap usually opens up in the pocket, and he's going to sneak out and get it 4 or 5 yards.
Roth in motion. And now swing pass to Burns. And that one was covered by the Maverick defense. Flying in for the tackles, the defensive back, Marion Lambright.
Yeah, that was shut down very quickly. Looked more of a design play versus an outlet play because he went to it so quickly and he didn't have any pressure on him, but they did a good job of reading that.
Mavericks defense holds. The Wildcats forced to punt. 9-10 remaining here in the second quarter. And nearly blocked. Punt barely gets off. Esser fields it at the 27-yard line and takes it out of bounds.
Yeah, just barely sneaks that one through. Looking at some scores here in the NSIC. Sioux Falls, number 4, who beat Minnesota State last week, 9-0, and looking to improve on that 23-7 over Upper Iowa at halftime. Augustana on Concordia St. Paul, 28-10 at half. Getting close to halftime, Bemidji State up 14-7 on Minnesota State Moorhead. That's going to be a good battle as they continue to go through the game. Look like it might be a high-scoring one. Winona State is beating Southwest Minnesota State 20-7 as they just get going in the second quarter.
Always nice to see the landscape of the NSIC and how games are playing out as we're rounding out the regular season. Grant, any surprises being an NSIC aficionado playing for the Wildcats at the start of the season as opposed to the records you're seeing of some of these schools now?
No, it's always interesting to see how that kind of landscape develops in your Concordia St. Paul. Every once in a while has a couple good teams. Bemidji State's doing some good stuff right now, but Sioux Falls has just done a really impressive job ever since they came into the NSIC. They have been a strong player and a contender in the conference, so I think that was most interesting probably when you look at them year to year, how well they've transitioned into this level from NAIA to D2. Minnesota Duluth at number 18, currently at 8-1, 5-0 in the North, are beating University of Mary 20-0 as they go into the second quarter. But it's interesting, yeah, every once in a while you get a team that kind of just steps up, but Sioux Falls has been a growing power, and they've really got some great facilities, they got some great coaches, and it's been easier for them to recruit thanks to those tools.
Some big-time offense for the Mavericks here. A couple of quick completions. And Minnesota State is down in Wildcat territory. That most recent catch by Connor McKean, the 6'4", 210-pound senior. Grant, you're talking about Sioux Falls, and of course, that is who the Wildcats have to round out the regular season, the number 4 team in the nation. Not going to be easy for Wayne State next week. Of course, right now they're worried about this week as breaking away from the pack is Isaac Rodriguez, another first down. As we talked about, the Maverick offense had about 30 yards in the first quarter, but they are starting to get things going here in the second.
Yeah, the offense is looking a lot better. And we saw those turnovers early on, and that was the big impact in that first quarter, what allowed both of those scores by Wayne State. They had short field on both occasions, and Wayne State did something we haven't seen them always do this season. That's take advantage of those opportunities.
Parchini on the quick bubble screen. He hits Brent Esser. Might be a pickup of a foot.
Yeah, Dwayne Scott got in the backfield there on the right side, that Will linebacker, and he came through and he about got a hand on that thing as he was throwing it out.
This Mavericks offense very balanced in terms of what they do. I wouldn't say they're either a passing or a running team. Parachini has thrown for just over 1,000 yards, 1,200 coming into this contest. As he rolls out to the right here and goes for it all on the corner route. Oh my goodness! Connor McKean reels that one in at the 2-yard line.
And that's one of the best catches, if not the best catch we've seen this year. The one-handed grab just floats and palms that thing on the way down. I'm not sure how he even got to foot in bounds, but that is a big-time catch. Just working down the sideline, and they're going to get in. That's going to be on the 1-yard line, just short on the run play, but you saw that catch. Unbelievable. You got to check those hands for Stickum, or maybe just too large of hands because he palmed that thing.
Mavericks in the hurry-up. Lorenzo Woodley kept out of the end zone on that ensuing carry, so it brings up 2nd and goal to go from the 1. You still have Woodley in the backfield next to Parachini, and flags fly, movement early. False start against the Mavericks.
So that's going to make things a little bit more difficult, but not too bad. Again, what an incredible catch. Now, when we look at the various catches we've seen so far this year in high school, last night in high school football, O'Neill, they had a very similar catch to win the game right there on the sideline. But then earlier in the year, we had a catch from a Scott wide receiver who palmed it one-handed and then just kind of continuing running. And I think that was probably the most impressive catch just because he never used the other hand. On both the cases with O'Neal and this catch, he palmed it in the air and then brought it back into a grip.
And Piragini will take it in for the score, but another flag, which could be good for the Wildcats. We'll see what the call is.
It's coming out of the backfield, so we might have a holding. Just looking at the position at where this came from.
Judging by the body language, it looks like it's against Minnesota State. You are right.
You see a little bit of that jersey pull by number 15 on Minnesota State. Virgil Hammond.
So that brings up 2nd and 11 now. He had McKean in motion across. And the pump fake from Piccini. And he's brought down inside the 5. He wasn't going to get away from Dwayne Scott.
Dwayne is very athletic guy, very aggressive guy, and does a great job in that backer position. I know there's been a couple tackles this year he wished he could have back where he just barely missed it that time, not letting it get away. But he's been a fun guy to watch at that linebacker position.
And we're now under 5 minutes remaining here in the first half, 17-14. Mavericks looking to take the lead. 3rd and goal to go from the 4. Piccini pressured, he throws back across his body, knocked away by Cam Montgomery. And Grant, that was the play we saw that led to the Mavericks' last touchdown. This time the Wayne State defense all over it.
Yeah, Montgomery spotting that thing up, and then they kind of got their feet tangled in, but they were both making a play on the ball. You'll see them falling down on the back end here. Montgomery coming through and just knocking it away. Obviously, for Wayne State, an interception would have been great, but I think it would have been about on the 1-yard line is probably where they ended up placing him because he wasn't quite enough into the end zone to get a touchback.
21-yard field goal attempt by Anders Glazniski, up and good. Grant, we are tied 17-17, 4:39 remaining here in the half.